Hello and welcome to this episode of Esports Connected. I'm your host, Megan Van Petten, and today we have a very special guest, Matthew Hixon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You look very nice. I like your jersey. For those of you that don't know, which are very few, and those of you that aren't watching, he's in a really cool jersey we'll tell you about in a second. But Matthew's here to share. He's the CEO of Gamers Glorified. He's a head coach. He's a professional gamer. He's an esports educator. I have to add in a heartfelt entrepreneur by nature. His gamer tag is 99cent McFury. So let's get to it. You're here to talk about, well, I saw some of the topics you like talking about, of course, is gaming, esports, coaching, cryptocurrency, and one of my favorite topics, youth development. So tell us, Matt, a little bit about your jersey when you're ready and how you got into esports.
Yeah, so this jersey I have here is actually the new jersey that my team will be representing in this upcoming week. Actually, next week, we have a major esports tournament coming up called Frosty Faucets, and it's actually in Lombard, Illinois. So we pretty much compete. We're competing in multiple different fighting games in esports, doing brand awareness. I'll be marketing myself, looking to recruit potential players who want to get into the esports world on a grander scale, whether it be professionally or career-based. So that's kind of how I do my marketing. I go to where the players are. I let them know who I am, what I do, and then, kind of go from there. But yep, this is the new jersey. This is probably my third one that I've made so far since the company came out. I try to keep up with the time, stay innovative, stay cool or hip in regards to this thing. So I have to update my jerseys and get co-signed off by my athletes. So if they don't like them, okay, I'll change it up. What do you like to see? And go from there. So
My goodness. I mean, I really appreciate your humility. I'm telling you, there's a couple of things. I grew up with my main mentor for a man was my godfather and my grandfather. I lost my dad at a very young age to a car accident. I was 5. And I know. So my grandfather, the very last thing he said to me when I was going on a trip to Indianapolis was Yahoo me, because he thought email would be called Yahoo because he had an email account. And he was all about staying cool. And boy, it's true. It's a mindset, just like, why get old in your way or why get stuck?
exactly.
It's not like we're trying to be fake. We're trying to actually meet people where they are. And it takes effort.
It does. It really does. Especially in the gaming industry. It's a lot easier to just go where they go. In the beginning, I initially tried to go the traditional route and just try to get the demographic or population to come to me, which it works here and there. But I've come to realize just through trial and error, through my business, that it's actually easier to go to where they're already going to be at anyways, and just provide the services or the gaming there, because you have their attention. They're already stationed there. They're already there with their teams, their friends. It just makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that? Meeting people where they are. I mean, it just really takes something, I would like on my list of things to study is great coaches. My grandfather, that's what he did. He studied great coaches and he called me MVP. He was just he went to Notre Dame and he did walk on. He was a walk-on for football and he lasted I think like an hour, but he can say he played football for Notre Dame. Just such a cool guy, but just the greats, the great coaches. Not everybody is a retired pro as a coach. So tell me a little bit about that being an advantage for you. I mean, I read something where you walked onto a game, you jumped into a game in 2022 that you never even played and you won and took it home. Yeah, talk to me. How much is luck? How much is practice? Tell us the real ditty.
So with me I've been competing since 1999. So my peak point in competitive was 1999 through 2009. Gaming wasn't what it was now. It wasn't even coined esports at the time. And like usually there's just fighting games that you could actually do some type of competitive nature of sport. And then back then, you know, the prize pools wasn't as big as they were now. You were getting like a few $100 and like a gift card at one of the game shops that were hosting it, or a local bar. You would get like either a free drink or a free appetizer or something to that extent. But a lot of it is actually practice. And to be honest, I'm very competitive by nature. I'm the oldest of three boys. So we've all had that competitive mindset, military background. My brothers are always competing. We're always competing with each other. I kind of have to, since I'm the older brother, they kind of look up to me. So I kind of have to like pretty much beat them, just to stay ahead of the curve with them. But a lot of it is practice and just experience. So, you know, to answer your question in regards to the one that I won, there's a major tournament in Illinois called Combo Breaker that happens usually around every May. And last year I competed. I entered 3 games. I ended up winning one of them, made top 3 in another, and top 8 in another. And 2 of them were games I've never even played before. So just from experience as a gamer, just knowing that I love to game, all I really need to know is like, what are the rules? What can I not do? And if I do something, is it considered cheating? If it's not, okay, cool. And then I just use my experience and focus, locked in, and I just play to win. That's usually my mentality when it comes to gaming, is just I play to win. And I use that mentality, you know, in everything that I do in life pretty much. And that's how I've strived and become to who I am now in regards to the esports. And now I do that with coaching. It's a pretty good experience. It has its ups and downs as well. Not everyone has the same mindset, so to speak. But as long as they're having fun, that's what's the important part. And then to know that they can actually take this somewhere on a professional level, whether it's playing the game itself or just doing stuff on the back end as a career.
It's really interesting that you used your big brotherhood to level your game of life. I would have to ask, as being the oldest brother and setting the example, who's been your mentor? How did you create, develop, learn? I mean, this is a mindset that instantly reminded me of Tiger Woods.
Yeah. It would be my parents. My dad's from a military background. He was in the Air Force. My mom comes from a military back family as well. And it's discipline for one, being consistent, and just being a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it, even if it's in gaming. So because of my background and how I grew up, and, you know, military-based background is, you know, when I commit to something, I say I'm going to do something, I'm all in, and I'll figure out how to do it. You know, it's that mindset, it's that will in you that pretty much drives me. And with that will, I try to instill that in everybody that I talk to be honest, whether it's gaming, usually it's just gaming because that's what I do the most. But there's will that needs to be instilled in this generation. You know, I'm gonna be honest, they get down really easily, at least the demographic that I deal with and talk to in the youth. You know, even when they lose a game, like, they take it really to heart, you know, and they really get emotional about it. I'm like, you know, one, the bottom line is it's just a game, but 2, you know, you can do better. You know, you just have to keep practicing. You know, someone like me who tells them, hey, I was in your shoes. This is where I started. This is where I'm at now. So it can be done. So I think showing them that it can be done gives them that motivation and that will. But that's it. Just the discipline side of it through my dad. My parents have always been hard on me because of the military background. And I thank him for that. Kind of like gave me the structure and the foundation that I need in order to do what I'm doing now. Because esports is a hard business. I've had some ups and downs, trials and errors. I did some things that didn't work. Okay, let me try this, let me try this. And I kind of found my lane to say in esports, and just moving forward from there.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And boy, I think what I'm really hearing is, as hard as you are on yourself and as an example you are for your brothers, you really give back. How did that happen? That for me is I was raised that way. And I'll just self-disclose, Catholicism is all about 10% of your earnings or 10% of your time, whatever you want. So like that was ingrained in me. And like I just do. Did your parents, I mean, you're, and I should in full disclosure share that you're also on our, I believe you are serving on our events committee and creating our esports next event this year. And we're so grateful that you're on the leadership team there. So where did you get the spirit of giving back? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that comes from 100% on my mom's side. So
Okay.
she ran an at-home daycare a little over 20 years. So living at home, by default, I was kind of working for her, but not working for her. But in that environment, being around kids, you know, she's went from raising kids that are 5 years old all the way up until, elementary school, middle school, and then still keeps in contact with them to this day. So some of them are in their 30s and my mom still talks to them. And me being around that atmosphere of, giving back and providing that services. And my mom is very active in church as well. So she does the daycare there. She teaches CCD. So that's her side of giving back. And just living in that household, you kind of follow in those footsteps. So what happened was I pretty much took that structure and foundation, and now I'm giving back to the youth. And I realized because of my mom, that's where my gifts are. One of my service gifts in church that they talk about,
Yes.
mine is, serving, and my demographic is youth, young adults, and kids. And it kind of just fits hand in hand with gaming. So I found my passion that I love. I'm using my gifts that, God gave me, that I figured out, oh, I'm good with the youth, good with the kids, and just bridge the gaps together. And that's how I got where I'm at now.
It's a whole different level of, I want to say almost like it's just a whole different level when you're in your strength lane.
Yeah.
And like me, so my gift from the church is hospitality. So I can host anything, anytime for anyone, but it's my gift.
Right.
And I make it look really easy anywhere, like it just doesn't matter. It is my gift. When that lane opens, I'm like, got it, on it.
Yep.
And it's so neat to like know our gifts. It's so neat to know that that's not what's not my gifts,
Exactly.
Isn't
I think
it?
it makes life much easier when you know what it is. And to be honest, I knew for a while. I just didn't accept it to some extent
Because
because
it's easy. It's
right,
like, well, I already know that.
it wasn't what I wanted to do per se in that field of things. So like I'm gonna be honest, like I used to teach fourth graders when I was active in the church. I was like, I knew I was good with kids. They saw that kids, tend to me, they talk to me, they open up to me. I enjoyed what I did, but it wasn't what I was passionate about. I knew I was doing the right thing and I was in the right area, but that wasn't my passion. And then, I started my business. I realized, oh, this is it right here. A lot of the demographic, a lot of the events that I've hosted in the beginning were from ages to 7 up until like 12 or 13. And then I was like, ooh, this is it. I found it, and I think once you find what your passion is, and we live in a world now where you can actually turn that into an actual job or a career because of technology and how everything's going. It's great. So, I mean, those who are watching, if you find what your passion is, like just go for it. You know, mine happens to be gaming and youth. And here I am now.
Well, what I got really fired up about when we first talked was how you're bringing it together where we need it so well, in my opinion, and utilizing esports lounges to create incredible experiences. Now, my claim for fame, before you answer your question, what I tell everyone is when you come to Esports Next, the way we design it, you should meet everyone because it's 3 days packed into only one big day. You want to come and over network and meet everyone and feel like you just left camp, you can. Or you could come for the one big day and you're gonna have the opportunity to meet everyone you want. But I promise one thing, you'll never be to another event like this. And I'm telling you, everyone, I'm on record to say it, everyone that I tell this to stops me and says, you're right. There's just something about my events. And you know the secret, Matt. I mean, it's just running in your strength lane and doing the good work. But when we talked and you told me your passion was esports gaming lounges and the youth, I was like, all right, this is going to turn into something really special. So tell me about what you're doing at these different facilities, colleges, and wherever you're finding your events at.
Absolutely. So in the very beginning, when I started in 2017, I moved here from Florida. I tried to find where the gaming community was. There wasn't many, not even esports lounges. There wasn't many just gaming facility places anyways, like overall. Like you would have to go to like Chicago, Schaumburg. They were out in the Midwest area, but it wasn't anything local. So I'm like, well, where all the gamers go? So, as I'm going to like Six Flags and like Chuck E. Cheese with my daughters and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I know he plays games. I know they play games. Where do they go to play? I couldn't find one in the local area that I was at. So I was like, okay, well, since I've been competing since 1999, I've been to plenty of major events. I know how this stuff works. Let me just create one, so I did. I started with what little I had. I didn't have all the gaming equipment stuff as you see in regular lounges and stuff like that. So I used what I had. I had Xbox, PlayStation 4, a Nintendo Wii. And I was like, how do I get people here?
Yes.
So I was like, I need to do something that gets them in the door. So in the beginning, I did gaming in general. That's why it's called Gamers Board Fight. So I host video games and I host board games, card game events, Dungeons and Dragons, whatnot. So I said, everybody plays Uno. Let me just buy some Uno cards and host a Uno tournament. So went to Walmart, spent $20, bought 4-pack of Uno cards. Okay, how do I get people here? Most people are on Facebook. Okay. Facebook ad, paid $10, 10, 15-mile radius, went to Canva, made a little flyer, posted it, boom. It's like, okay, cool. It's getting results. All right, people are looking. Let me see who shows up. I had like 40 people show up my first event for Uno tournament. I was like, ooh, okay. That worked, And then in the background, I had my gaming consoles for people who didn't want to play or wanted to do something in the meantime. I did that and it worked. And then everybody was like, ooh, what is this place? Like, what is this? You do gaming? This is awesome. When's the next event? I was like, oh, I haven't planned that far ahead yet. So it'll be next month, but I'll figure it out. But I got them there. So for the first year, all I did was different board games, but I had video gaming in the background. And then as the money comes in for my events, I would use that to buy more equipment, to build up more gaming. And then at that time, esports wasn't really, it was in the air, but people weren't really paying attention to it like that back in 2017. So I kept doing what I was doing. As it got big, I got involved with Kishwaukee College. So I went to Indeed.com, right? I kid you not. I was like, let me type in esports. right? I kid you not. In Indeed.com, there was maybe like 4 things total that pulled up. It was a coaching job at Kishwaukee, where I'm at now. It was like a tournament organizer for one company. Another one was for like video gaming development and something for marketing. There was literally like, that was it within like a 50-mile radius. So I was like, okay, but let me apply for this coaching job. Ended up getting the coaching job. So I've been the head coach at Kishwaukee since then. And now I kid you not within like 2 to 3 years from then, like if you just not Google, but go to Indeed and type in esports, to some extent, there's pages of stuff now. So just the transition from when I originally looked till now, it's amazing. But that's how I got started. Now I currently don't do any events anymore. I'm more focused on education and developmental side. So I've created a gaming curriculum where I teach life skills, developmental skills, financial literacy, and career opportunities through esports and gaming. And I do that at public libraries. I do it at an after-school program at a junior high school. So I'm in the process of working on potentially 2 other schools. And how I contribute to the whole esports ecosystem is my after-school program does field trips. They go to like, Jump America, anything, Six Flags. I take my group to esports lounges. So we all benefit. I have my program at the school. I take these 40 to 60 teens to an esports lounge, and they get the actual experience that I'm talking about in teaching in my program. So it's a win-win for everyone. My program's at the schools. I take these kids to the esports lounges, that need the bodies there to get the experience to play. And that's how I pretty much help. And my contribution to that is I want to get to as many schools as possible. And if there's an esports lounge within that facility, I want to take those kids to the esports lounge.
All right. I love this for so many reasons. There's a couple of points I'd love to hit on. First of all, there is nothing like being in community, literally nothing. Like, this is wonderful that we're together right here, right now. But what's even more wonderful is I get to see you at the Harry Carey's ballroom in February at, Frosty Faustings. Like, I can't wait to go there. I happen to be married in that hotel.
Oh, really?
Incidentally, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love that hotel. It's so great
it's
there
so
in
good.
Lombard.
It's really good. A lot of prior to me being in gaming, I was in the mortgage industry for about 15 years, and a lot of their holiday parties were there. So
Interesting. Yeah, it's just a great venue. It will be my first time going, but you'll see me there. Because for me, just in all of my wellness program for myself, just playing a big game, having the big life that I'm trying to always create discipline wise each and every day, I try to get out. And I go back again to my mentor, my grandfather, and he brought me to the Villa Park Public Library regularly. He bought my card, he renewed it every year, and guess where I find my peace? And guess where I go? All through college, I did my homework at the library. So he brought me at a very young age to just hang out at the library. But that's what I learned. Like, you saw your mom giving back, and that's what you learned. What a great way to expose developing youth to go to these lounges where they could be together in community and play and do what they love. Now, that's a bigger game. What I also love about your story is how you started with a very small task. And it didn't matter if 2 people showed up for Uno or 40. You were present. Your intention was great. Your intention was to invite them into the world of video gaming through board games. Now, I didn't know you were a D&D player. That's super fun. I haven't played since I was probably 13, but it was one of my favorite games of my life. It's just so amazing. I probably would say it is my favorite game that I've ever played in my life. Um, now that I'm really present to that truth. But so much good that you're doing, Matthew, and we are so excited to have you as a member. I can't wait to physically meet you. I feel like I already know you. I guess like what I would like to know, since this is a, esports connected, getting to know you business association, what do you think the world should know about what's going on in your world? What kind of opportunities are there for sponsorship, giving back? I mean, I heard you're teaching financial literacy, soft skills, as well as, the obvious. What do you think we don't know that's going on? What's important for us to see and think about in your day-to-day, what you could share?
Overall, and the esports organization as a whole, we can't compete with each other. We have to benefit from each other. We can't treat this like traditional business. It can't be a Coke versus Pepsi, or my lounge is better than your lounge, that type of thing. We have to stick together, because we really haven't found a sustainable way right now to stay afloat. There's a lot of money being poured into it, but not a lot of return on investment. And I don't think as a whole, everyone has figured out what works. We're all trying different things, which is great. Like I said, I stay in my lane. I know what works for me. It's the educational side. I can bring my value by bringing the kids to the lounges, and so forth. So I don't, like I said, I don't even host events anymore. So I have my audience say, hey, when's the next event that you're hosting? I'm like, I don't host any more events. You need to go to this place. Like if I host it, it'll be at this particular esports lounge. It won't be at my facility anymore, because mine is more for the educational side of gaming and esports. So I don't want to necessarily take anything from someone who actually has a facility and needs those bodies there. So I'm within the schools. So I have my audience, libraries, what have you, and I can bring them to your facility. So you benefit from that. So we always have to find a way to benefit each other. Like cross branding, but on steroids for everyone, pretty much. And I think the Esports Trade Association is a great tool for that, since we're all here. We kind of just need like a really big professional powwow and just be like, what do you do? Okay, you're into content creation. Okay, great. I need help with that. I don't
Yes.
necessarily have the time to do it. I do it just because I have to, and to stay relevant. So I do a couple things here and there, but that's not my specialties. Mine is coaching, teaching, educating, prepping the generation for careers and stuff like that. That's just an example that I've been seeing overall. And I think once we figure that out or come to some type of conclusion on that, I think esports will be more broad-based in general, because there's still some stereotypes of that. Every year I talk to some athletes' parents who don't really understand, or they just see the surface value of what it is, which is video gaming, and don't understand the back end of things and how it actually is beneficial overall. But that's what I've been seeing since I've started. I've seen places, I've been around the block. I've been gaming professionally since 1999. I've seen places open and close all the time, and then with COVID happening, that definitely put a spark, and we need to figure it out. Granted, gaming has skyrocketed because of COVID, because we were isolated, and, even in esports, my esports program at Kishwaukee, we were the only sport going on for a while, because it was the only sport that was COVID proof, so everyone was now like, oh, what's esports? Oh, we have an esports team. Yeah, how are they doing? Now people were interested because nothing else was going on at that time. But at the same time, it was a gift and a curse. As esports went up, more places like esports lounges were closing because there were no bodies in there. So I think we need to figure out how we can all benefit from one another, to keep afloat, to be honest, right now, because everyone's still trying to figure out esports as a whole and what we're doing. And I just happen to be blessed enough to know what my lane is and how I can benefit, you know, another esports organization or lounge or whatnot.
Well, I think that it's a real opportunity on a local level here in Chicago, Illinois, for us to get together and have a powwow and see what we can't do in bringing in all the players that would like to be part of something as we launch our Chicago chapter, which I believe you're part of the leadership of our Chicago chapter. It's interesting that we're launching the Chicago chapter like last because we're here, but we were so focused on our big annual event that we just this is just a perfect opportunity, and the timing's perfect for us to create some real incredible events that also support, our wonderful lounges that are in the space doing the good, one block at a time, like scrims. What a great gaming. As a matter of fact, we're having our first Chicago chapter launch there at scrims, and I haven't even been there. I can't wait. So maybe we should do the roundtable, get together and look at what Chicago needs one block at a time.
Yeah, that would definitely be great. Because now is the time right now, especially with technology. Esports isn't going anywhere. There'll always be games coming out, and I see in the back end that people want to get involved because there's like Netflix gaming. Nobody would have thought Netflix would have got into gaming and esports. So I see that they're interested, and everybody's trying to figure out what works. But I it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger as it grows. More people are getting into it. I think eventually we will figure it out. I just hope that everyone's on the same page, because like I said, I hate to see lounges close. The one thing I hate is like you get comfortable and you build up a community, you build up a belonging, and then they're no longer there. So like all the people that were there are back to square one, and it's like, it's almost like closing a school down. It's like you lose all your connections.
That's so cool. And here's the thing. Businesses go out of business. It's true. What Chicago is doing with a lot of our retail space that's empty, like on Michigan Avenue, they're literally offering pop-up shops. So we could, like, these opportunities are not, they're challenges. They're ways to think out of the box and get creative. Maybe we should come up with, a pop-up stop. I love that you're utilizing current businesses that need the traffic first and foremost. And what about our open and available retail? I mean, every city has the issue of empty retail space. Right. So yeah, let's get busy here in Chicago and come up with something. We have time, we have each other, we have a great community, and
I do feel like we need to be the ones to take charge. And I think once that blueprint is set and we have it figured out, it can be replicated, across the nation. So yeah, pop-up spaces sound good. But I think once we figure it all out as a whole, it'll be good, and we'll get there. I know we'll get there.
Honestly, what you did with the Uno cards is brilliant, because you didn't make it bigger than it was. You didn't get in your own way. You went and bought a couple of decks of cards and had a great intention. And for that, I mean, that makes you, what a legacy, what a story. I'm so grateful that you're on the show. For all of you out there listening, where can people find Coach Hixon? What do you go by? Coach Matt, Coach Hixon?
I go by, it depends on who I cater to. So in the fighting game community in esports, I'm known by 99 Cent McFury. They either call me McFury or 99 cents. If I'm doing something coach wise, like with my athletes at the university or when I do my camps, they just call me Coach or Coach Hixon. So it's funny because nobody really calls me by my actual name. Some people don't even know my real name. They just know me by either Coach Hixon or 997 McFury, which is perfectly fine with me. But I'm pretty much everywhere. I kind of have to be. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You know, you can just Google 997 McFury and you can just pick a link. That's how long I've been in the game doing this. Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere.
That's right. So you heard it. Thank you, Matthew Hixon, for being on the show. He's everywhere. He will also be at Frosty Fostings, February 2nd through 5th.
Yep.
And you can find him at our conference, Esports Next 2023 at the Radisson Blue. He's part of our planning committee, and we are so happy to have you as a member as we dance out of this show. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.